Weekly Wrestling Review with your hosts, Hal, Jack, and
Chaz.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Weekly Wrestling Review. I'm Hal.
I'm Chaz.
And today we will be covering the go-home shows leading up to Money in the Bank for Raw and SmackDown. We will also be doing our predictions for Money in the Bank, and then tomorrow we will also be doing, hopefully, a reaction video for Money in the Bank. We're still sort of in limbo because video situation hasn't been really easy to figure out, and due to the circumstances, it's really hard to just easily get hold of a webcam at the moment or anything to easily record to a computer with. So, we'll work on that, but either way, you will hear about our thoughts on Money in the Bank regardless. We're going to start with Raw, which was the May 4th edition. The show opened with the VIP Lounge once again. Much like last week, it was sort of to hype up the Money in the Bank match, but rather than the men's side, we have the women's side here. This is one of the interesting differences between Raw and SmackDown I've noticed in the lead up to Money in the Bank. A lot of Raw's build up to their superstars in Money in the Bank has been just like these interviews or like promos, whereas on SmackDown it's been a lot of matches to hype it up. Which are both effective, although, to be honest, I thought this particular segment there wasn't much to it.
To be fair, I think it's been, especially from the women's perspective, I think the build-up to the Money in the Bank, specifically for the women, has been quite poor.
Yeah.
Especially on Raw.
Yeah.
I think Raw's been the weaker of the two, building into the actual ladder match itself for the women.
Yeah.
Even the qualifiers.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
You know, so, I mean, not that SmackDown's done much better, but it's been a bit more entertaining than Raw's version of events.
I think I can agree with that, yeah. Our first match of the night is the Last Chance Gauntlet, which is basically a gauntlet match to determine the final person in the men's Money in the Bank due to Apollo Crews' injury from last week. We started with Bobby Lashley and Titus O'Neil. Really, to be honest, although Titus at least got some moves in, until Lashley's last moment in the match, he pretty much just rolls through the competitors he has to face.
Yeah.
He gets right through Titus O'Neil, then Akira Tozawa, then Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah.
Which was a surprising one to see Benjamin back. Then Humbo Carrillo comes out. Now, Lashley, this is a weird segment, but I like the way this resolves. Essentially, Lashley eventually gets Humbo Carrillo into this hold, which is sort of a choke more than anything, and the ref keeps trying to break it up because it's an illegal maneuver, and Lashley ignores and pushes the ref at points until the ref decides to DQ him.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird, but I kind of respected it in a way. I mean, we talk about Bobby Lashley's poor run in WWE.
Yeah.
But we saw last week he completely demolishes a random jobber.
Yeah.
He does it without Lana. Again, no Lana. So, are we kind of seeing the end of this storyline that we dread so much?
I don't know. Until we actually see those two interact again, or Lana to screw him up again, we won't really know where that's progressing.
I mean,
she could have just vanished, I suppose.
We got the WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Right? And then that was where she sort of screwed him out of the match.
Yeah.
Well, past not really screwed him, but it was her fault that, in a way, that he did lose to Aleister Black at Mania.
Yeah.
Then we go to that weird Raw thing where he was throwing tyres over.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the conflict there. It just didn't seem right. And then you had last week, you have this week, no Lana again, and it goes through maybe still jobbers, to say the least, but at least they're jobbers that we know.
Yeah.
They're not just random people from NXT or in the developmental that ain't got a character yet, so you're just throwing them in, or local talent.
Yeah.
And he looked dominant in it, and he didn't actually get pinned to lose, which is the main thing.
Yeah. So here's an interesting thought to talk about though, with the Bobby Lashley and Lana thing seeming to be running its course. What's next for Lana? Will she get released?
I mean, there's a possibility she could follow suit, because obviously her husband being Rusev being released, maybe this is their way of writing her off TV to eventually release her, because
I'm not sure what she would do without, like, her entire career pretty much has been in some way related to Rusev's being there.
Yeah.
Even, like, every time she's been with another heel, it's usually when Rusev turns face, and she doesn't. Like, I believe it happened with Ziggler.
Yeah, it always comes to the fact that the feud ends up being with Rusev involved.
Yeah.
She's either with him or against him. There isn't no, she's gone her own way. And when she has matches, I mean, she ain't the best in-ring talent in the world, but with a bit of training, I mean, look at the likes of Trish Stratus back in the day. She weren't great. Look what she became. With training and guidance, I'm not saying she could be the next Trish Stratus, but she could become a decent performer, if anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Only the writers can answer where we're going with Lana, if this is a thing that they're going with.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that we're seeing a dominant side to Bobby Lashley rather than getting squashed all the time.
Right. Definitely.
And he didn't get pinned. So this, even though he run over 3 people, regardless whether they're being jobbers or not, he ran through 3 people, right, and then got disqualified by his own account. So it makes him look strong, even though he didn't win.
Right. Now, interestingly, even though Creo is seemingly in a heap at this point, he managed to come on top of the next pair, which is Angel Garza and also Austin Theory, both from a heel faction that he is quite familiar with at this point. He gets them both in the end with roll-ups, just sort of dodges moves and gets a lucky roll up on them and manages to get the 3 count. And yeah, he basically seems like he's going to somehow just squeeze through everything. Then AJ Styles returns. Now, the news story has been that apparently this return was... we sped our way to this return. He was actually meant to be out... They were meant to sell the fact that he was beaten by Undertaker at WrestleMania for a lot longer. It's unclear exactly why. Maybe due to the OC being gone. Maybe they were going to come out and vouch for that trio for a time. Or maybe there's a lack of talent that they can use currently with the situation. Either way, AJ Styles comes back. He and Humberto actually worked together for a little bit, to be fair. There's a bit of back and forth there, which I wasn't really expecting when AJ Styles was the one who came out. Yeah,
no, you just expected him to come in and just win. You know, kind of like how Undertaker came in and beat him at Showdown.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing. So for Humberto to get any sort of offense in shows that they're still running with a little bit of faith in Humberto.
Which is good, because we haven't seen him for a little bit.
No.
I was worried that he might have been an afterthought after the heel team got over. But after the match, AJ Styles obviously talks a bit about the Money in the Bank. I believe he has some choice words for one of the compares.
Yeah.
AJ Styles seems like a strong pick for winning the match, potentially.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to talk about it over... we're going to talk about it over predictions anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, AJ Styles, out of everyone, is probably the most likely to win. And that's not saying no one else can win.
Right.
But to me, AJ Styles seems the most sensible I know a lot of people will go, well, but he wasn't originally scheduled to be in the match. Maybe so, but I mean, we touched on this a little bit today before coming on air. How maybe it seems a bit early for Aleister Black because of his persona. You don't expect him to hold on to the briefcase.
And very suddenly, they sort of started to suggest US title pitch for him potentially.
Exactly. So, you know, Daniel Bryan, now, as much as I love Daniel Bryan, for him to come back and win the WWE title the way he did, lose it, then win Money in the Bank to go on and have that, will just be exactly what we were booing about Roman Reigns.
Right. I want it to be one of the people that are kind of fresher to the company that win it. Or AJ Styles, because you could put him in the world title picture pretty quickly and that'd be fine. But I would also like it to be maybe, like, I considering how they've portrayed him recently, even with Sonic on SmackDown that we'll get to, I'd even like Corbin to win.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I'd be fine if anyone wins it as long as there's a good story behind it.
Yeah.
I mean, Daniel Bryan, don't seem to me like you can make a good story from Daniel Bryan winning.
He was also just in the picture not that long ago.
Exactly.
So, yeah. I mean, we'll see where that goes. After that match, we had Seth Rollins in a segment talking about his match with Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins cuts a good promo.
Yeah. I mean, it's a given.
Yeah. It's been pretty much the same thing, but it's still good, and he still has things to say, so that's alright. It's just, it doesn't make it good for note-taking, because all I would basically be saying, it would feel like I'm reiterating the same angle constantly.
Yeah, well,
you know,
I mean, like...
But he does the gimmick well. Yeah.
I mean, you're only going to talk about that.
And again, it's also potentially just because of circumstances, they can't do as much with it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure we could have variations with, like, him being on his own, him being with Murphy, him being with the AOP as well, if things were more normal.
Yeah.
But as it is,
we wouldn't be getting the same old stuff.
Has to be him standing. Yeah.
Same promos.
These are one of the concessions we have to make with the situation as it is.
Yeah.
After that, we had a little thing showing that Edge and Randy Orton will be around next week.
Yeah.
So they'll be probably setting something up for the next pay-per-view, I imagine. What I would hope, I kind of want them to move on from each other.
Yeah.
Like, there should definitely be a blowout, like a response to what happened at WrestleMania. But maybe like a match on Raw, or a promo or two. They don't need another big match. They should have like a moment again, one or two like segments, either a match or just promos, and then they just go off to something else. Because otherwise, it's just going to be the same thing again.
Yeah.
And I think we've already had sort of their big moment with how the Last Man Standing match ended.
Yeah.
Personally. After that, Buddy Murphy is briefly interviewed about his match with Drew McIntyre, which would be our main event for tonight, which we'll get to. Buddy Murphy, he's an okay talker.
Yeah, I ain't got a problem with Buddy Murphy talking.
There's not too much to say about this. It's just usual, like, match hyping, really.
Yeah. I mean, we know the outcome.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, unless it was a dusty finish, it was kind of always going to be the outcome, I would expect. But
I mean, the only way I'd expect it to be a dusty finish is to promote the match, so with Seth Rollins getting involved. But, you know, other than that, you're promoting your world champion.
Yeah. After that, we had Brendan Vink and Shane Thorne versus Cedric Alexander and Ricochet.
Yeah, and I said this, I touched on this last week. I said, don't be surprised.
Yeah. Now, I have seen some concerns with Ricochet being the one to take the pinfall in this match.
Okay.
I guess because people are just still nervous because of how his world title run ended.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think it's good for Vink and Thorne to get the win here, because if this becomes a program, this could be a good way to get both teams over and hopefully flesh out the Raw tag division a bit more. Absolutely. It was a decent match. I think all four worked well together.
Yeah, and it wasn't a squash match like we're used to
Right,
seeing.
absolutely.
We saw Ricochet and Cedric Alexander squash Thorne and
Think before, yeah.
Yeah, 2 or 3 times over the past 4 or 5 weeks.
But now we see them
But this was a
as
decent
equals.
match between the two.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm more than happy to see Vink and Thorne get the win here.
Definitely.
Just for the tag team division alone.
Absolutely. We have another tag team match after that with the Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders in a non-title match.
Yeah, this one surprised me.
The amount of offense Raiders got and the lack of the Profits offense, really.
Yeah, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. We're selling the fact that the Street Profits haven't beat the Viking Raiders. Don't get me wrong, but we could have made the tag champions look a little bit stronger than we made them look on Monday.
Notably, we saw I'm not sure which of the Raiders it was off the top of my head, and I didn't write to speak on my notes because if there's one thing you should know about me is when when a tag team's involved that have the same attire or relatively same attire, I don't notice the difference immediately because they're little things you don't notice in the middle of a match.
Yeah.
One of them gets hit with the tag team finisher that Street Profits do, and they kicked out. I think that's the first time someone's kicked out of that.
Yeah.
Of
To my
Angelo,
knowledge, at least.
of Angelo Dawkins doing the... I don't know if the tag team move is called a cash out or if Dawkins move cash out and it goes into the From the Heavens from there. But it's the first time I've seen someone kick out of that.
Yeah.
Dawkins is the one that takes the pin. He gets hit by the Viking Experience. And yeah, so they won the non-title match, which will almost certainly mean they'll get a title shot down the line.
Maybe even Money in the Bank.
Possibly. Charlotte comes out next, talks about her match with Io Shirai, which I believe happened on Wednesday or is going to happen.
I believe it
has happened,
Wednesday,
yeah.
Yes.
I'm still not entirely confident NXT, I need to get on that. But Liv Morgan comes out.
She does.
And they have a bit of a back and forth, which turns into them getting a referee out there, and we have a match. And Liv Morgan gets some good offense against Charlotte in this match.
Yeah. I mean, it seems... I mean, we said, look, when we saw Ruby Riott return, that she'd be the one to get the push, but it ultimately seems like Liv Morgan is getting a really massive push. I mean, right, solely she gets beat tonight, but she really does. She knocked Charlotte about a couple times that I was really surprised at. You know, Charlotte took a couple hits. You know.
And you could say
Liv Morgan can hang.
You could say Charlotte got lucky managing to counter that move. Into the figure eight.
You know, otherwise we could have been looking at a potential NXT Championship run for Liv Morgan.
So this is good. Well, ultimately it is a bit disappointing Ruby Riott hasn't really gotten anything since her return, and she is the one that returned.
Yeah.
I think you especially have noted that Liv Morgan has deserved something for a while, and this seems like a real push to something. So hopefully this will actually go somewhere. But yeah, ultimately Charlotte gets the win, gets Liv Morgan to tap to figure eight. Now, there's something we should talk about, and we don't usually bring up the moments where they have to show a full match replay or show moments from past matches, but considering the speculation going on around this, we should probably talk about throughout the night they're sort of counting down to their favourite like Money in the Bank cash-in, and the final moment, the big one is Seth Rollins cashing in at WrestleMania. The very famous one that sort of resolved a lot of Roman Reigns heat from the Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns match due to the Royal Rumble that happened, I believe. Notably, people noticed that they very much edited around Roman Reigns being even a factor in that match. Now, obviously, a lot of the concern is because he's not on TV, are WWE sort of pushing away from him because he doesn't want to appear on TV given the current situation. Now, there is a kind of argument that perhaps because he's not on TV, it's weird to show him because he's not going to appear anytime soon. But it's one of those interesting things, like, is there more to this? Or is it just the fact that he's not on TV and they don't want to show someone who isn't going to be on TV for a while?
No, I mean, look, if you're going to put it like that, then How about all the promos we had with Brock Lesnar when we were waiting, when we're in the middle of April, May, June, and he ain't appearing again till November in Survivor Series. We still got Brock Lesnar promos.
That's a fair point.
You know, so I think take that factor out. I just think they're being. I don't want to like think this, but for some reason I just think they're being salty because Roman Reigns is refusing to turn up for work because of his condition. I think they are being salty about it.
And ultimately, there are definitely times you can point to where Vince has been known to be petty about very unrealistic things 100%. To be petty about. But
and with his nickname at the moment being Screw It Vince,
ultimately, we don't really know the situation, but it's an interesting talking point. I kind of hope they're not doing that, but the history's definitely there.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It'd be nice to actually see Roman Reigns back when he can, and seeing wherever his absence puts him. We close our night with Drew McIntyre versus Buddy Murphy. Seth Rollins accompanies Murphy, at least up towards just coming out to the entranceway, and once the match gets going, you just see every now and then Seth Rollins is a bit closer to the ring. He's getting just a bit closer. And that ultimately makes you think that he's going to get involved. But he doesn't. The match pretty much goes on as it seems meant to. Murphy gets a decent amount of offense against McIntyre. But every single time he gets to the point where he can pin McIntyre, McIntyre just like immediately kicks out pretty much and just looks more and more angry. Yeah. Until he gets really fired up. The match only ends with... Maybe I was seeing things, but it seemed like it definitely seemed like Murphy was going to go for a Claymore, was going to steal the move.
You know what? I thought this. I did think this.
But ultimately he ends up just eating a Claymore himself.
I mean, it's weird because he can set up looking like he's going to do it, but obviously he knows that this is supposed to be counteracted into him receiving one. So when he's actually running towards it, as they get closer to doing it, you can see that it's a change of... So you don't know exactly what he's going to do it, but the original setup did seem like he was going to attempt it.
That's the feel I felt, which is crazy. You don't see much of that.
No, not this day. Not in this day and age.
But after the match, Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre square off. Seth Rollins still outside the ring. Rollins looks to just leave. Then it seems like he must have just done a lap around the centre because he comes out of nowhere and super kicks Drew McIntyre. Which then ultimately just ends with Rollins getting the Rollins Drew McIntyre face off ends up with Drew McIntyre getting the better of him, and Rollins just manages to get away before he gets Claymored, which seems to be the story of this whole conflict. Every time Drew McIntyre looks like he's going to do the Brock Lesnar and start Claymoring him into the dirt, Seth Rollins like, no, I'm out.
I mean, that does wonders for Seth Rollins, though, because, I mean, we know Seth Rollins is tough, but he's so good at playing a weasel character as well.
Absolutely.
You know.
He does the cowardly heel so well. Especially when he's just shouting during matches and he has he has like it's kind of like a high pitched, almost like whiny voice. Which fits so well for wanting you to hate him. He's great. I mean, he's fantastic.
We've talked about it before, it's so Triple H-esque.
Yeah. I can definitely see that. So Raw, for the most part, feels pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, minus probably the whole women's segment at the beginning.
Yeah.
I'd say the rest of the show was pretty damn solid.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of these matches were pretty solid. There wasn't really any filler here.
No.
I mean,
I would have liked to have probably seen the men from the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, interact more.
Yeah, but you know, like, other than that, I don't really have a complaint.
Not really.
Raw.
Because, I mean, I'm sure some people complain about seeing, like, the Money in the Bank stuff, like, seeing it as filler, but this is the go-home show. It's like when Royal Rumble used to do the promo with the Royal Rumble statistics.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with things like that, because it sets up the major pay-per-view that's coming up.
So, we talk about WWE having the big four.
Yeah.
Right? It used to be the big five with the King of the Ring.
Yeah.
We removed the King of the Ring. Money in the Bank has now sort of taken over that spot.
And it's probably a better pay-per-view overall.
Yeah, overall. But, all right, yeah. I mean, King of the Ring was great for its time, but going on recent viewings,
King Ring's always been weird. I think Money in Bank...
nothing ever really came.
Yeah, Money in Bank solves that issue because it has like a very obvious goal for those matches.
Exactly. But the King of the Ring, you became King of the Ring, and yeah, ultimately it led to a push, but it only led to a push for the big superstars that won it. I mean, Billy Gunn never got a massive push.
Yeah, other than Kurt Angle, and obviously another thing is sometimes there will be a gimmick saddled with it.
Yeah.
But other than, I would say, Angle and Booker T, no one's ever made that work.
No.
Corbin is still attempting to make that work.
No.
And people don't even really... I bet most people haven't even seen the King of the Ring he won.
Exactly. I mean, who was it who won it before then? Was it Sheamus or King, or was it Wade Barrett?
It might have been one of the two. I don't remember.
But yeah, one of them two won it as well, and it didn't work for them either.
No.
Hence why Sheamus is in the Rockies and we all know what happened to Bad News Barrett.
Yeah. Good old Stu. Doing well in other places, which is great. Of course, I think he mostly does like commentary and like on ring in like non-competitor roles now,
yes,
as far as I'm aware. So we moved to SmackDown, which started with, before the intro, we had Mandy and Sonya Deville preparing for their matches, and both Otis and Ziggler come up for their women in this whole thing.
Yeah.
To sort of just give them luck, mostly, I guess.
Yeah.
Although that's more Otis. Ziggler's just kind of there, which is Ziggler's whole story, really. But that...
Ziggler's whole career, really, isn't it? He's just there.
Unfortunately.
Spirit Squad leader.
Oh, that is one squeaky,
really
whatever that is.
Squeaky deaky.
I think someone's losing rubber on their tyre. But once the show starts proper, our first match is in fact the Mandy Rose Sonya Deville match, which I'm going to pretty honestly say one of the standout matches of the week.
Yeah.
This was great from a storytelling perspective. You could see the frustration building in Mandy Rose during this match. You could see just how furious Sonya was.
Yeah.
I believe that was a moment where Sonya ripped like her fake Mandy's fake eyelashes off.
Yeah. I mean, did you know what I thought was great about this as well? Was the fact that Sonya played a bit of a hot and cold part to this.
Yeah.
You know, she was feisty, she was furious when she got stuck in, but she also knew when to cower. Frustrate Mandy just a little bit more.
Yeah, she played it very smart.
And do you know what? I'm not too salty about the ending. If we're gonna get something more from this.
Yeah.
If that roll up on Mandy is how we finish this feud, then you've just ruined what, 3-4
No, it needs to be a more definitive ending for those two. But what I really liked about this as well was, so in WWE, and again, women's wrestling has gone a lot better, but I feel like most women's feuds, when they come to the match, boils down, when they're like these big, really heated feuds, boil down to a lot of hair pulling.
Yeah.
And just tossing each other around. This felt like a fight. This felt like two people wanting to beat each other to pulp.
Yeah.
Which was fantastic, and I really liked seeing that from the women's wrestlers.
It's been a while since we've really seen that whole hair throwing about in it.
Yeah, which is great, because that was always like, they always, you know,
that was
they
so
always
diva.
Cat fights.
It was so diva of them.
Yeah. It's great to see like some actual like, no, I want to punch you in the face.
Yeah. I mean,
sort of fighting.
It was more WWE and less Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Yeah. But it was a really good match, and again, I think it was one of the best things of the night. We move on to another fairly solid match, although I found it a bit too messy, like a bit too chaotic at times. That was the New Day and the Lucha House Party taking on Miz and Morrison and the Forgotten Sons in an 8-man tag match.
I mean, it was fun. There was certain spots that you could get behind, but the whole match just screamed total, utter chaos.
Yeah. There was one moment which I'm a bit worried about. I don't know if this was intended or if this was an accident.
Okay.
When Blake did the dive Did you see how his neck landed on the barricade?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That ultimately that could have been a sore one.
Considering the push they're starting to get only now, I really hope that's not done any serious damage if it was a botch, which I assume was, because that didn't look like a safe landing for his head.
No, but at the same time, I haven't heard anything. So.
No, so hopefully he's okay.
But even if he's not, we have Jackson Ragger.
Yeah.
But that's not saying I wish anything.
No, of course not.
At least it ain't gonna tarnish the whole match.
Right. Everyone gets some offense in during this. But ultimately, it ends with, I believe, Lince Dorado is in the ring. And the Forgotten Sons are fighting with the New Day outside and take them out. I think Grand Metalik somewhere. I've had one of your moments where I've forgotten which one of the Lucha House Party is which. No, I think it's Lince Dorado. And Miz gets in. Miz is the legal man and manages to hit the skull crushing finale. And they get the win. The heel team gets the win here. I think they all look strong. And again, I feel like Lucha House Party and Forgotten Sons got most of the action here. Which is a good thing still, because they're the two that are the less known of the four teams that were involved in this match.
Yeah.
Which is good. I really feel like we're getting to another stage where we're going to get some new stuff in the tag divisions. Given the track record, it will inevitably stagnate again, probably.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see something fresh going on here, on both Raw and SmackDown. King Corbin's next. He's being interviewed. He's talking about the 6-man tag match time later tonight with him, Nakamura, and Cesaro taking on Brian, Gulak, and a mystery partner. Now, considering he comments on Otis being in the Money in the Bank and teasing him about being fat, that pretty much told me immediately who the third face was going to be for that 6-man tag later.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty predictable, but it was an okay promo from Corbin.
Yeah.
He has a very punchable face for a smarmy heel.
Yeah. I mean, he is one of those people that he could get right underneath your skin to the point where you do want to physically punch him.
He deserves more than he's been getting.
Yeah. I mean, he does get his own little spot
tonight.
Yeah.
Which is good, which gives me some hope, but we'll see when we get there. Next, we have Jeff Hardy's return. Jeff Hardy talks with Renee Young about his career. Sorry, I'm just going to repeat that. Jeff Hardy returns next, and he talks with Renee Young about his career, about his various ups and downs and all that. It's very generic, returning face sort of thing. And we see Sheamus backstage, watching. And, of course, the moment Jeff brings up Sheamus, because of all he's been saying for the weeks leading up to this, Sheamus immediately comes to the ring. Interestingly, Sheamus pretty much goes on about Jeff and pretty much alludes to Jeff's problems of recent years.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't outright say anything, but he is basically talking about the fact that he's had, the drug problems and the various wellness violations that have led him to basically spend the last half of his year pretty much on and off of wrestling for the company he's with because he keeps getting into trouble or being in a situation where he can't wrestle. Which was interesting to get there. Now, I do have a problem with this promo. I think up to this point, it's good. I think that Sheamus and Jeff Hardy both worked well here.
Yeah.
I have a problem with Jeff Hardy beating on Sheamus here. Sheamus has been getting a push, and I understand Jeff just got back, but
it would have been better to make them both look strong. No one had to really lose this confrontation.
Not necessarily, but also I think if you're going to make someone be dominant on top, I think it should be Sheamus.
Yeah.
Because that would help build heat to an inevitable match, which I assume they're going to have.
Yeah.
This seemed like it just sort of ruined whatever momentum they were trying to build for Sheamus by making him throw jobbers out of the ring every week.
Yeah.
For the past, 2 months.
At the same, there is no moment here. There's no crowd.
No.
So you already lose that momentum from it. So, I don't know. It did seem a bit weird that Jeff Hardy really made Sheamus look so weak here.
Yeah, it was a weird call for me. Next we have Braun Strowman, and it's the same promo as it's been. It's pretty much the same thing, except we actually see Bray Wyatt this time, like in person. He's not on the TV, and the puppets appear.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just used to be one of us. Come back
to us.
And Braun's like,
no,
nah, and that's it, and that's the entire feud.
I mean, the only different thing that was done here that we haven't seen is, one, Bray Wyatt was actually there in person, and two, Braun Strowman actually turned around and said, I'm the Universal Champion now, and I will be after Money in the Bank. They're like the only two differences from the promos that we've seen Braun and
I
Bray
haven't
give.
really felt any heat in this rivalry.
Heat. I'm not looking forward to the match. The only time I'm going to be excited in this match is if Bray Wyatt wins.
And I like both of these people, to be clear.
I like Braun, I like Bray, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it because I don't think Bray deserves the title, but I didn't think Bray deserved to lose the title in the first place.
Yeah.
For Braun to even take the title at Mania. I don't think Goldberg and Braun Strowman or Goldberg and Roman Reigns should have been a world title match at Mania. And I said that from the beginning. I did not want that.
Yeah.
You know, Bray Wyatt could have easily gone into Mania. But it weren't meant to be.
No.
So if anything's going to excite me about Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt, will be Bray Wyatt actually beating Braun Strowman. Or if Braun Strowman actually aligns himself with Bray Wyatt, that would be kind of cool.
If it's just a straight match, I don't know. If we get some weird stuff again, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Because that was great last time. We'll see what happens. Next, we had Sasha and Bayley versus Lacey Evans and Tamina. A lot of the momentum of this match was kind of, I would say, mostly on the heels.
Yeah.
Sasha and Bayley playing it very much safe, picking their moments to sort of wail on Tamina while she was in the ring. Lacey, once she got involved. Ultimately, I don't know. I would say, I think the matches for this week were pretty strong.
Yeah.
I didn't really care for this one too much.
Nah.
Honestly. What was interesting is the ending with Tamina kicking out of the Bayley to belly.
Yeah.
And then
Tamina automatically getting the pin on Bayley was
Yeah.
interesting.
after
The only
her moves.
thing that annoys me in these type of finishes is that Tamina got a clean win over the champion and the commentators build on it.
Yeah.
Because now you're telling me that Tamina ain't got a chance in hell of
Yeah.
winning this title.
I agree.
Look back in history, the amount of times you've seen
Every
the
time they
challenger
build up
pin
this
the
hard.
champion, and the commentators build it so much, like it's so shocking that look at the size of Tamina,
Yeah.
look at the size of Bayley. It shouldn't be shocking.
No.
How are the commentators building up the fact that Tamina's just pinned the champion?
Yeah.
Like Rey Mysterio had just beaten Brock Lesnar in a knockout fight.
Right.
It shouldn't have been happening. This tells me that Bayley's either gonna get a cheeky cheap win or a disqualification or anything like that, but Tamina is not walking out of Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I can agree with that concern with the way they've booked this. They have a habit of when it overbook like the challenger, especially challengers a face, getting the upper hand before a thing. It usually means that the heel champion's going to retain.
Yeah.
In some way.
Yeah.
But we shall see. Our main event is Corbin, Nakamura, and Cesaro versus Bryan, Gulak, and their mystery partner, who, sure enough, is Otis. Before the match begins, though, we have another little interruption from the hacker.
We do. I was wondering when he was going to make a little appearance.
Now, interestingly, despite him appearing it seems like around Gulak stuff recently.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's more just so the crowd sort of knows when to like the viewers know when to anticipate it, more than like being relevant. Because it was kind of relevant the first time, but this time it kind of went to the women, and it seemed to imply that there's something going on there. I didn't recognize the female voice. Talking about payback of some kind.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm not too sure. I mean, I'm no good with voices.
No.
If I can't see the person physically and they're just talking, it takes me a while. Unless it's a real standout. But yeah, I get what you mean. It was like I couldn't really picture the voice. The only women's story I can think of that could potentially do harm here for the hacker is the whole Bailey Sasha Banks scenario.
I believe one of the clips did show Tamina. There was like the little snippets. I think it was Tamina and someone else during the promo. So I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I mean,
I'll have to rewatch and analyze just that part just to get her up. But yeah, I mean, it's so interesting, this hacker storyline.
Now, there's a lot of rumours going around about who this could potentially be. Obviously, one thing circulating around was that it was going to be a duo of Mustafa Ali and Chad Gable. And the Mustafa Ali part is corroborated by, I believe you noticed in some of his older stuff, he has a symbol similar to what shows up.
Yeah, I mean,
on the old teasers.
I didn't really. It wasn't something I noticed because I don't know too much about Ali. I know he got somewhat of a push going early on, before getting injured and then coming into what he is now. But I believe he got injured around the time that Kofi Kingston took over, because Kofi Kingston was his replacement in the Elimination Chamber.
That's right, yeah.
Because he got the whole Kofi Kingston run was said to have actually been Ali's run. Kofi Kingston got what Ali was supposed to be getting.
Right.
That's a lot of the assumption. But there is... So I'm playing WWE 2K and I'm noticing that the entrance of Ali just happens to have the circle similar to what we're seeing week in, week out.
Yeah.
Well, not quite week in, week out, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I pointed towards Ali. But interestingly, off camera, there is a lot of talk of CM Punk being behind.
Yeah, this was one of the weird rumours that was sort of going around, was CM Punk might be involved in this hacker angle.
Look, don't get me wrong, we've heard a lot and seen a lot of CM Punk rumours over the year to say that, alright, this is probably BS as well as everything else, but you know, it wouldn't... I guess back then with them rumours, the reason they were BS is because there was so much heat with CM Punk and the WWE, but he is actually a part.
He's employed now because he runs, or did run backstage, pretty much.
Not as far-fetched as the old rumours used to be. But again, this is obviously, in my opinion, just a load of people getting together and hoping.
Yeah, because again, it doesn't seem really tied to him in any way.
So CM Punk left in 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah? I mean, we're talking 6 years ago.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna come back and be the same guy that you saw 6 years ago. I mean, back then he was the big guy, the biggest guy in the company.
Yeah.
But now there are more. We didn't have Bray Wyatt. We didn't have Roman Reigns, and they weren't as big as they are now.
Right.
Even if they were even there at this point. You know, so that's what you've got to be looking at here.
I feel like if he did come back, he'd be the same as any of like the legacy wrestlers, where he'd probably just mostly... Maybe, but I also think like he'd probably come back as like a legacy sort of guy. He'd fight like a lot of the other old dudes, and stuff like that. I don't see why he would be involved with these younger people.
No,
especially
if he takes one and manages them on, because we know he's a great talker.
Yeah, absolutely.
We know that he's got underhand tactics, so he could be a great manager for someone. But as far as back in ring and competing for the world title and doing all that again, I don't see it for CM Punk.
No. I think the strongest pull is Mustafa Ali at the moment with as far as the hacker, but we won't know until he or they actually reveal themselves, because we don't even know there's two of them still.
Yeah.
Because that was a prevailing rumor for a while. So the match itself, it's fine. Everyone seems to get their moment during it. One of the things really stood out was there was a moment where it was Gulak and Cesaro. Gulak was on the second rope. And I don't know how he got into the position to do that hold. It was it was something. Cool. It was really cool.
It looked cool.
That was a great moment for Gulak, because that's like that really shows that technician, that mat technician sort of style that he's been talked about for. Which puts him pretty much on the same level as like Bryan. He's that sort of wrestler.
Sorry, hot.
Oh, no, it's okay. I thought you were trying to get my attention.
No.
So, yeah, things ultimately end with Corbin hitting the deep six and getting the win. And more so to getting the win, in the final segment of the night, just after the match, everyone sort of spills out to the outside and ends up going into the empty crowd area and seeming to go away, while Corbin stays in ring. He does the usual spot when there's a ladder match at a pay-per-view, especially now that there's a guaranteed one Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
He climbs the ladder, does his whole thing on top of it. Then Bryan comes, interrupts him, and they go at it. Otis comes, and he also goes at it with Corbin. Notably, Otis tries to climb the ladder and struggles.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That could just be a moment for them. I really don't want another Big Show situation. Do you remember the Big Show when they got the industrial ladder out? Was that for Big Show? I think it was the Big Show.
Yeah, I believe it was. And they literally, because I think they did this segment building up to that whole ladder match where every ladder he stepped on just completely broke. So they had to get that big, massive black ladder that was the size of the ring.
Yeah.
And literally, I remember the ladder being that wide that at one point all the competitors in the match were just climbing that one ladder on each side. I remember that was a spot.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't want a big novelty ladder.
No.
So we'll see where that goes.
If anything, if you're going to do something stupid with the ladder itself, then do something completely stupid and have Dolph Ziggler attack Otis before the match. And Dolph Ziggler enters. You know, I'd rather that than have Otis look like an idiot in front of Mandy.
Yeah.
He's Peach.
So, from there, Corbin normally gets the up hand here as well, even in this end segment, and grabs the briefcase.
Yeah, and he's standing tall.
Now, is this a sign of things to come, or is this another thing where they're sort of overbooking it to the point where it's obvious he's not going to win?
I don't know. Elias is still a factor, isn't he?
That's true.
Let's not forget what he did to Elias a couple weeks ago. So Elias.
We haven't seen Elias since, I don't believe.
Well, I haven't. I haven't heard him sing either.
No. So, SmackDown was also good. I'm going to say, because Raw, for me, had no weak matches and SmackDown had one, just on that factor alone, I'm going to say Raw was better. But I'm saying it's close.
Yeah,
I think they were both good shows this week.
Definitely. I think the only thing that can disappoint you, and if you were going to say SmackDown's a better show, I think the only reason you can give that more than anything will be just for that one segment on Raw that was poor between the women.
That's true, and we got some better representation for the men's side of the SmackDown Men in the Bank. Yeah.
Promo-wise for SmackDown was poor, and the matches were really good. Yeah. And I think that's where we can lean and say Raw was better. Because Raw was solid all round apart from one promo.
Yeah. I can agree with that. So, a really good week. Now, let's move on to the Money in the Bank 2020 predictions.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, so this card has 8 matches on it.
Okay.
7 main card matches and 1 pre-show match. So for the pre-show, we have Jeff Hardy versus Cesaro. I did that exact same thing when I pulled up the card and saw it. Just For those who you can't see, Chaz just had sort of a look of shock. He had to do a double take, upon hearing that.
I mean, it's almost hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, just take away the entire factor for a second, yeah, and just point out the obvious here. You brought Jeff Hardy back to have a feud with Sheamus. Now, you obviously believe this feud with Sheamus is too short to have the match at Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
So we just put him in a pre-show with just a random person. But it's not just a random person, though, is it? It just happens to be Cesaro.
What if Sheamus interferes with the bar reunion?
I mean...
Heel bar.
If there's going to be a bar reunion, it's going to be one night.
Yeah.
Unless Sheamus is planning on joining Nakamura, Corbin, and Zayn.
I'm mostly wishful thinking, because otherwise this entire thing's pointless.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Look, Jeff Hardy to win.
Yeah.
If anything, unless Sheamus is going to actually interfere in the match and brutalise Jeff Hardy.
I'm probably going to...
If this is just going to be a standard match, if Jeff Hardy don't win, release him. No point of him even returning.
Right, I'm going to say Jeff Hardy as well. I'm just going to say Jeff Hardy's going to win that. Next we have the women's Money in the Bank ladder match with Asuka, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, and Carmella.
Do you know what? I've been thinking a lot about this. I really have. And for the most part, I've said Shayna Baszler. But you know something? There is one person that has been standing out for me. There is one person that has been standing out for me over the course of this that is actually changing my mind. And that is Lacey Evans.
She's been getting a decent push recently.
And she's been heavily... Look...
And it's been a lot with Sasha and Bailey as well.
You know, and she's been screwed out of that so many times. What if she gets her revenge by winning the Money in the Bank briefcase? Don't get me wrong, people will say it makes Shayna Baszler look weak, but really, will it? She's not in a one-on-one match. She's not in a match that she can control physically on her own.
Yeah.
Whoever comes out of the Money in the Bank don't look weak. The only person who comes out with anything is the person who wins it.
And Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, both Titan women, one just with their strength and one with their size. They could cancel each other out at some point.
Exactly, and then that bids to a feud between them, and we still see the dominant Shayna that we've been seeing, a bit more of a point to it, rather than just pointless breaking people's arms. Give her a proper feud to build back. Don't just give her the briefcase.
Yeah.
And just have her come out and talk nonsense about being the best wrestler in the business and going after Becky. Let her dominate for a bit before giving her Becky again. If we think I'm gonna go Lacey Evans.
I think I'm gonna agree with you. You've sold me on that. I'll be honest, you've sold me on it. I wasn't even thinking about that until you mentioned it. I think I'm gonna go with that as well.
It just makes more sense to me.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it makes more sense. Especially with how Shane's been booked, I just think it'd be weird to just give her that.
Yeah, I mean, Asuka, I don't see it, and I think Carmella and Dana are going to cancel each other out because they're friends. I think Nia Jax and Shayna are going to cancel each other out.
I don't think Asuka needs it.
Asuka doesn't need it. So yeah, why not Lacey Evans?
Yeah, I think I agree. So let's move on to the men's Money in the Bank, which is Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, Aleister Black, King Corbin, Otis, and AJ Styles.
I mean, I gotta go with AJ Styles. I mean, you don't... I know he wasn't originally meant to win it, but I think it's too early for Aleister Black. I don't think he's world title ready yet. And you sold me on what you were telling me earlier about how you don't see Aleister Black just holding on to the briefcase for long, talking about it. You see him as someone who's just going to go out there and cash it in.
And it doesn't seem like the situation really is right for Aleister Black to be the one to do that.
Yeah.
Given who is currently champion on his show and the situation with that title. You know, maybe I'm a sucker. Maybe SmackDown. Maybe SmackDown has ruined me. I'm gonna say King Corbin.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't be too upset with that.
As long as he didn't.
I mean, he got a win on SmackDown.
Yeah.
That was a win itself. He climbed the ladder and took the briefcase on SmackDown.
So I'm saying maybe I'm a sucker for going with that because maybe they've just sold me
I mean,
snake oil.
Look, theoretically, you could have a story for every single person who wins the Money in the Bank this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Daniel Bryan is the only one you can't. But look, even Otis, I said it to you before. Otis can climb that ladder, win the belt, and win the briefcase. Dolph Ziggler couldn't steal it from him like he's been trying to steal Mandy Rose, because we know that's Ziggler's character. That you know, you can make a story out of it. Just Daniel Bryan seems to be the only one that doesn't come to me.
And again, doesn't really need it.
Exactly.
So next we have the Universal Championship, which is Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt.
I mean, look, I've got to say Bray Wyatt. Simply for alright, Bray Wyatt, even look, if he wins in a way where he doesn't win the title, okay, but look, Bray Wyatt should win this match.
The thing is, the thing that makes me think of Bray Wyatt as well is that Bray Wyatt didn't lose the title because he didn't lose the title because for story reasons, really. He lost it because from what I recall hearing, because of how they were advertising WrestleMania at the time, and they were trying to, because of the network stuff, they were thinking about selling licensing for on-demand showings of things to other companies. They wanted a more mainstream, recognizable face to have the title at WrestleMania, and they wanted something more like Goldberg and at the time Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns is, kid friendly. Goldberg is there for old fans. He's very recognizable face. And he's just a normal family guy, whereas Bray Wyatt's got the whole mask thing and he looks like a weirdo, I guess, to normal people. I mean, he freaks me out. So that was the reason I remember hearing for why they took the title off of him at Super Showdown.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, I think it makes sense for him to get the title again here. And also, it still continues with his character, and it'd be interesting to see Braun Strowman be a heel again if he reappears from this.
Yeah.
Or if he just... Because I can't imagine him just disappearing like John Cena did.
No. I mean, there's a reason John Cena disappeared the way he did. He's not active anymore.
No.
You know, he's gone. He's doing bigger, better things.
Yeah, he's doing his own thing. He's gone the way of the Rocks and such. He's gone to do his own things.
He's doing his own thing now. So, pass the torch. Give it. Let's. We're at that stage now.
Yeah. So I'm gonna agree with Bray Wyatt on that one. So far, I've only disagreed on one of them.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very boring predictions thing. Next, we have the SmackDown Women's Championship with Bayley versus Tamina.
I mean, if Tamina wins, it's going to be a disqualification type victory. I'm cutting with Bayley.
Yeah. I just don't see it yet.
Yeah, I don't see Tamina winning the title just because of what happened on SmackDown.
Yeah. No, I don't see it.
I completely lost it. Well, I was excited about... that was one of the matches I was excited about. Until I saw Tamina win on SmackDown cleanly. And then the commentator hype it up that she just pinned the champion in a non-title match.
No, I agree. So next we have the WWE Championship, which is a Drew McIntyre. Next we have the... I'll wait for this because it's quite loud, actually. Even with the predictions now, we're just an hour.
Yeah.
We're rolling through these now. I'm really good at just knowing, streamlining it. And... Anyways. Next is the WWE Championship, which is Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins.
This one's hard.
Yeah, honestly.
This one is really, really hard.
We talked about off air how maybe it is kind of harsh to say the potential for Drew McIntyre to just drop the title here.
Yeah, but do you know what? I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre. Simply for the fact that Seth Rollins has weaseled away from Drew McIntyre building up to this whole pay-per-view. he hasn't really took a Claymore kick. He hasn't took a Claymore kick. As far as I'm aware, Seth Rollins has not took a Claymore kick, but he's dished out a lot of stuff. And every time he's gone to receive a Claymore kick, he's either got out the way just in time,
or Buddy Murphy
has had to have plastic surgery.
So yeah, this is interesting. Like, from a classic booking standpoint, if we put on our like booking hats, like our ring agent hats.
I feel like this is something we need to make as a prop now.
Yeah. No, but if we think as bookers for a second, like the classic thing here is to have the face finally get his hands on the Weasley heel.
Yeah. Just like we're waiting for Braun Strowman to get his hands on fucking Sami Zayn.
Yeah, still, even though that whole thing sort of went up in smoke because of what happened.
Where is Sami Zayn?
Yeah.
Where is our Intercontinental Champion?
Don't know. But yeah, I think Drew McIntyre is the right call. This one might be an interesting one to figure out. The Fatal 4-Way Tag match for the SmackDown Tag Titles with The New Day, Miz and Morrison, The Forgotten Sons, and Lucha House Party.
Ooh. I'm going to play safe and stick with New Day.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to play safe.
I am going to go for...
Unless we go really, really old school, like, build your hopes up and crush them the next night. You know what I'm talking like? Lucha House Party shock the world and win the title only to drop them to the Forgotten Sons like a week later. You know, there's that classic shenanigans.
I'm going to say the Forgotten Sons for this match.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Do you know what? No, I can see why you would. I can see why you would go there. I don't know. I just look from what I've read and what I heard. The New Day pretty much only hold the tag titles now because of what happened to the Uso. So, if they did drop the titles, then you could turn around and say that was probably fact.
Yeah.
My advice to WWE on that one would have been, why not just keep Miz and Morrison as the champions for one extra month and then have them drop the titles to who you wanted them to drop the titles to. In saying that, guessing at the same time they probably wanted to give New Day that moment of being the 8-time tag team champions, giving them that, because they do deserve it. You know, even if they keep it for a day or a week, they do deserve it. But you know, for some strange reason, I think the New Day may retain here.
For me personally, it's half more I just want more than one match to disagree on.
Yeah.
So we have more to talk about in that respect. But also, like, if I'm going to go for something different, I don't think Miz Morrison are going to win it again. That seems weird. Especially if they were meant to drop titles regardless.
Yeah, because they dropped the titles on a SmackDown.
Yeah. And then also, the two teams that are, like, being built up here, like, the Forgotten Sons are the heels, so it makes more sense to me, like, mentally, to say the heels will be the ones that win it out of the two newer people in this whole thing. So that's why I'm saying the Forgotten Sons. Also, I do just quite like how their look. But maybe it's too early for them because they have only really recently been introduced to the main roster. But I'm still going to stick with that for this one.
Yeah.
And the last match is the most important match that's on this card. It's really important that we figure out, because this could be so difficult to decide.
Are you being sarcastic? Because is this a match that's just been added? Because I don't know this.
R-Truth versus MVP.
Oh, well. When and why?
This is such... Right, so... This is on the WWE website as well. This was announced... When it loads up properly, this was announced on... May the 9th, so it was announced today.
Alright, that's the when. Now the why. Because I don't remember any of these two appearing on Raw. Well, apart from MVP, I don't remember R-Truth seeing R-Truth on Raw. Is it because Rob Gronkowski's gone back to the NFL with the 24/7 title?
It doesn't say any...
We now have nothing for R-Truth, so we're just going to randomly put him in a match with a guy that ain't wrestling anymore.
Yeah. So Flip a coin.
MVP.
You know what? I would be kind of upset if R-Truth be MVP, even though he's not an active wrestler.
I don't. R-Truth's become that much of a funny joke character that it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
do you remember? Do you remember the Heath Slater days of like coming out to get beat up by all the legends?
Oh yeah.
This is
the reverse legend killer.
Yeah. This is where I see R-Truth's career now.
So you're saying MVP?
MVP.
I'm gonna say R-Truth just to disagree with you. One of us will win, even though we both lose.
No, actually, both of us could lose. It could be a draw.
Well, both of us are gonna lose anyways. We have to watch a match between R-Truth and MVP.
Is it even? No, please. Why is Jeff Hardy and Cesaro the pre-show? And you're gonna stick R-Truth and MVP?
At least Jeff Hardy and Cesaro could probably put on a good match.
At least there's a reason behind Jeff Hardy and Cesaro fighting. I mean, albeit Jeff Hardy's just returned. He's feuding with Sheamus. Cesaro used to be Sheamus' friend. R-Truth and MVP. I mean, apart from ethnicity, there's no other. What? Why are these two? They got no.
I guess
nothing in common. They've got no reason to be in the match.
They both need something to do, I guess.
But does MVP really need something to do?
I don't know. Either way, that's a match. It'll probably be You know what? It will probably happen between the Money in the Bank matches and the World Title matches. It'll probably be the breather match after the insanity of the Money in the Bank ladder match.
No, we're mad luckier.
Just sit over and down after whatever the fuck happens there.
Yeah, we're gonna get so much shenanigans in the Money in the Bank ladder matches that
you'll need a disappointing, boring match to go a toilet and then sort of calm down in time for the main events.
You still won't have missed that match because it'll still be going on. Because for some strange reason, it ain't going to be a short match. It's just one of those things.
Either way, for the most part, I think the card looks good.
Yeah, I'm excited about 90%.
So interested in whatever's happening with this Money in the Bank thing, the climb the corporate ladder thing. Yeah. Obviously, we didn't really talk about it, but they showed a little bit of like a virtual version of like what the office like building looks like, sort of the setup they've got.
Yeah, you were right about the ring being on top of the roof and then climbing a ladder.
That's going to be
it's gonna be
bonkers.
Insane. I'm just really interested to see. Like, I have this weird image in my head of the entrance being like, as their music's playing, they walk into the building, and that's gonna be the start.
It's either gonna be that, or it's gonna be there when they get through to the rooftop.
Yeah, like it's gonna be one of those things, like when you're watching YouTube and you're watching the backyard wrestling, and they walk out to the music. That's the feel I'm gonna get.
There's just someone with like a shaky camcorder as they come through like a bed sheet or
first
apron.
We're gonna see amateur professional wrestling.
But no, exciting stuff. It's gonna be good.
We're gonna try and do a live reaction video for it. We are going to get a camera. So if we don't manage to do it for we would like to do it for Money in the Bank because of the aspect of the Money in the Bank being the way it is. It'll be a surprise, so it's new for everyone.
Yeah.
That's why we intended to do it. But if not, we will 100%
have it ready for next month.
For the next pay-per-view.
Either way, the event's still happening. The show is slowly improving. These have become much shorter, as you've probably noticed. We've gone from an hour and a half of sort of awkwardly rambling on to getting straight through most of the stuff most of the time. They're much shorter, much more compact. I think much better made, generally. We're getting there. We're improving slowly. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. We hope you'll join us for Money in the Bank. Until then, I've been Hal.
I've been Chaz.
We'll see you next time.